My ex-boyfriend demanded half my house, claiming that I was successful because of him. When Ryan and I broke up after 3 years, it was actually peaceful. He cheated with his coworker Brittany, and I told him to pack his stuff and leave. No drama, no begging, just done. We'd been living in the apartment that I'd bought before we met, so there was no messy lease situation. He moved in with Brittany immediately, and I changed my locks. For 6 months, I didn't hear from him at all, which was perfect because I was focused on my promotion to regional manager and saving for a house. I'd always wanted my own place with a yard and garage, something that was completely mine. When I finally bought a 3-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood, I posted one photo of me holding the keys. Nothing fancy, just celebrating my accomplishment. Ryan texted within an hour. First, it was congratulations, then questions about the neighborhood, and finally, a request for the number of bedrooms. I gave short answers, thinking he was just being polite. The next day, he showed up at my office during lunch wanting to see photos. He scrolled through my phone, looking at every room, asking about square footage, the mortgage rate, and how much I put down. He actually wrote down the address. I thought it was weird, but figured he was just curious about real estate since Brittany's apartment was apparently tiny. That weekend, I was painting my living room when Ryan walked in through my back door. I'd never given him the address, but he said it was public record. He started critiquing my paint choice, saying sage green would have been better than the blue I picked. He walked through my entire house like he owned it, testing doorknobs, checking water pressure, and measuring rooms with an app on his phone. When I asked what he was doing, he said he was helping me figure out the potential. He left after 2 hours of uninvited touring. Monday morning, I got a text from Ryan with a full spreadsheet of suggested improvements for my house, new fixtures, different landscaping, and converting the 3rd bedroom to an office. At the bottom, he'd calculated that these improvements would add $30,000 in value, and he wanted credit for his consulting. I ignored it, but he kept texting, saying we should discuss his finder's fee since he'd helped me realize I was ready to buy. He claimed our relationship had motivated me to save money, and without him, I'd still be renting. By Friday, he'd sent me an invoice for $3,000 in consulting fees. The next week, Ryan started showing up daily. He'd be sitting on my porch when I got home from work, saying he was checking on the house's security. He brought paint samples even though I'd already painted. He scheduled a contractor to give an estimate on finishing the basement without asking me. The contractor was confused when I sent him away. Ryan said I was being stubborn about accepting help. He started telling mutual friends that we were fixing up our house together. When people asked if we were back together, he'd say it was complicated, but we were working on a project. Brittany apparently had no idea he was at my house every day. 2 weeks into this, Ryan sent me a formal letter saying he was entitled to half my house's value. His reasoning was that he'd provided emotional support during our relationship that enabled my career success. He'd helped me understand what I wanted in a house by showing me what I didn't want in apartments, and now he was providing free consultation on improvements. He actually cited common law marriage even though we never lived together in a house I owned and our state doesn't recognize it anyway. He wanted me to either pay him $40,000 or add him to the deed. I laughed until I realized he was serious. He'd already told his family I'd agreed to share the house with him. His mother called thanking me for being so mature about recognizing Ryan's contributions. His brother asked when Ryan was moving into his half. Ryan had even picked out which bedrooms would be his when he stayed there. The breaking point was when I came home to find Ryan inside my house with Brittany, giving her a tour. He'd copied my key during one of his visits. He was showing her the master bedroom, saying it would be theirs every other week. Brittany looked confused and asked why they'd be staying at my house. Ryan said it wasn't just my house, that he'd invested 3 years into our relationship, which built the foundation for my success. He said I owed him for the career advancement I'd gotten while we dated. Brittany asked if they'd been married. Ryan said marriage was just paper, and real investment was emotional labor. That's when I told Brittany everything. How Ryan had cheated on me with her, how he'd lived in my apartment rent-free for 2 years, how I'd paid for his car repairs, his credit card debt, and his brother's wedding gift, how he'd been unemployed for 8 months, and I'd covered everything, how the only reason I could afford this house was because I'd been saving the money I used to spend on Ryan. Brittany's face went white. Full story on channel, link below.